video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. My name is Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. This video memo presents information covering the month of March 2010 and the first 9 months of fiscal year 2010. Net revenue for the month of March was $54.3 million, above March 2009. On a percent basis, the month's increase was 16.8%. However, net receipts for the month were positively impacted by $30 million in withholding and sales tax receipts that did not make it into the February 2010 deposit number, receipts that instead were credited to the month of March. This issue accounts for more than half of the March increase. Looking at the months of February and March together, we see a $35 million drop in February, more than offset by $54 million increase in March, resulting in positive 2.4% growth over the 2 months. Delays in processing personal and corporate income tax refund requests are also likely contributors to the recent growth in net revenue. As an example, a total of $7.8 million in corporate income tax refunds were issued in February and March this year. Not only was this 62% below the 2 months total last year, it was lower than February and March total for any year since 2000. Positives for the month of March include withholding tax receipts, reduced regular tax refunds, reduced school infrastructure refunds, and increased corporate income tax. During the month of March 2010, a one-time corporate tax payment of more than $12 million covering liability from previous tax years was deposited in the State General Fund, and that is something that boosted corporate return amounts for the month of March. This table provides a look at the first 9 months of the cash year, July through March. Over those 9 months, gross revenue decreased 4%, while regular tax refunds increased 2.5%. School infrastructure refunds issued so far this year increased 9.1%, or $23 million. On a cash basis, 9 months of the infrastructure refunds have been issued in fiscal year 2010 versus 8 months in fiscal year 2009, accounting for much of the increase in this item. The combination of gross revenue, regular tax refunds, and school infrastructure refunds produces a net revenue growth rate for the first 9 months of negative 5.6%, or in dollar terms, negative $238 million. The March 2010 Revenue Estimating Conference, or REC, set the expected growth rate for net general fund revenue at negative 8.7%, making the net cash growth rate so far this fiscal year about 3 percentage points above the REC estimate. The net revenue graph on the second page of the monthly memo shows that net revenue has declined compared to the previous year in every month of this fiscal year except December and March. A look back over the past 17 months shows only 4 of those months experienced net revenue growth, while January and December 2009 positive only because of delayed deposits from December 2008 that spilled into January 2009. The growth in March 2010 may indeed be true positive growth, but we must wait to see if perhaps it was positive only because of slower than normal issuing of tax refunds. Let's now take a look at important contributors to Iowa's net general fund revenue. First, personal income tax. Partially the result of deposit delays at the end of February, gross personal income tax growth was positive 7.1% in March and is down 3% cash fiscal year to date. Declines have been shown in 9 of the past 12 months, with the decline during April, May, and June of 2009 most significant due to the negative impact of the tax filing season last spring. Partially due to deposit delays, gross sales and use tax revenue for March increased 9.4%. Sales and use tax gross receipts growth has been positive in 6 of the 9 months this cash fiscal year. This chart provides the most recent 14 months of regular tax refund history. Regular tax refunds exclude refunds issued to school districts as part of the transition away from a local option sales tax for school infrastructure. The largest categories of regular tax refunds are personal income, corporate, and sales and use tax. Tax refunds are a part of the net revenue calculation, and they lower the amount of general fund revenue available for appropriation. The first 6 months of the graph show the significant refund increase experienced last year. It remains to be seen if the better experience of the most recent 2 months is the result of lower demand for refunds or the result of refund processing delays. As part of the January monthly video memo, I discussed Iowa job losses since the 12-month average of the Iowa non-farm employment peaked in October 2008. Since the January video, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has released revised job numbers for all of calendar year 2009 and much of calendar year 2008. The numbers now show the current job recession is more significant than the previous numbers indicated, and this revised chart now shows the job recession is as deep by its 16th month as the recession of the early 1980s, with job losses from the peak equal to about 3.5% of employment, and that translates to almost 54,000 jobs. By contrast, the recession of the early 2000s experienced a job loss equivalent of only 24,000 jobs by the 16th month. While this recession may now be the equivalent of the recession of the early 1980s, there is no current reason to believe this recession will continue down the steep path shown in the 1980s. Overall, the month of March 2010 was a positive month, although not near as positive as the bottom line's 16.8% growth would indicate. The 2-month growth rate of positive 2.4% is more indicative of the period, although the tax refund process may have enhanced the percentage somewhat. The year-to-date net growth rate of negative 5.6% through March is currently better than the REC estimate of negative 8.7% for the entire fiscal year. And if that situation continues, the year will end with revenues above projection. The federal personal income tax filing deadline is April 15th, and the state deadline is April 30th. When April is finished, we will have a much clearer picture of fiscal year 2010 revenue. The condition of Iowa's general fund impacts all Iowa residents, and I hope this video presentation assists in your understanding of the present fiscal condition. I thank you very much for your interest in Iowa general fund revenue. Goodbye and have a great day.